All right, so here we are with 5-2, the homework review. The first problem here, number 15, we're supposed to write that as a fraction. It's a whole number, so all we need to do is take that whole number and put it over 1. Numbers 18 through 24, we're taking these numbers, actually 27 also, I'm going to go ahead and write that one too. We're taking these numbers and writing them as fractions. So when you do that, you need to make sure you put your fraction in simplest form. So with this first one, I'm going to say 5 and 22 hundredths. Just wrote the same thing. 5 and 22 hundredths. There we go. Then I can reduce this dividing by 2. So my answer would be 5 and 11 fiftieths. Number 21, I have 8 and 4 thousandths. Can reduce that to 8 and 1 250th. 24 and 27, I have some repeating decimals. So what happens in this case, I have the whole number, I can kind of ignore those for a minute and say if I have all these 5s that repeat, I am going to make them equal to n, and then I'm going to multiply n times something so that I move that repeating period to the left of my decimal. In this case, I just need to multiply by 10, and then I can subtract, and I'm going to get 9n equals 5. I divide by 9, and my fraction here is 5/9. Please don't forget we had a whole number though. So our final answer here would be 4 and 5/9. Next up, we come over here, and again we have that whole number, but we can ignore that. We're going to multiply by 100 here so that our repeating period moves to the left of our decimal. So we get 100n equals 25, We subtract. When you subtract here, you're essentially getting rid of all that decimal that repeats because it repeats in both of these. So we subtract, and here we're going to get 99. So n equals 25/99. If you haven't noticed, we're going to end up with a lot of 9s in our denominator. So if we're multiplying by 10, our denominator is going to be 9. If we're multiplying by 100, it's going to be 99. If we're multiplying by 1,000, it's going to be 999. Some of them you may be able to reduce and that 99 will go away, but for the most part, that 99 will stay there. Again, don't forget we had a whole number to start with. So our answer here is 2 and 25/99. I wouldn't be terribly concerned if you don't feel like you have mastery of this. Again, I just wanted to show you these so you'd be introduced to it and know that that does exist. Repeating numbers really can be written as fractions. This is how you do it. If you don't remember how, that's okay. I just really want you to remember that a repeating decimal can be written as a fraction. The next problem here would be number 30. In number 30, we are given a chart. So number 30 goes with the chart that refers to the continents and their decimal portion of the Earth's land. So how much land does each of the 4 continents that they list take up? So the most interesting thing I think about this chart is how much land Asia takes up. So check out how much land North America takes up, which is 1600ths of the whole globe or the whole Earth. Asia takes up 295 thousandths of the Earth, so quite a bit more than the Earth, almost double in fact, how much North America takes up, which is just interesting. And then check out how small Europe is with 7/100ths of the Earth. So poor Europe sitting next to Asia. It's kind of tiny. Anyway, number 30, we're supposed to figure out what the fraction is for how much space Antarctica takes up. And if you look at the chart, Antarctica takes up 95 thousandths. So we can write that as 95 thousandths. And then we can reduce that down. I'm going to divide by 5 here. There's probably something else that would work, but oh, maybe not. So we get 19/200ths, which that's reduced because 19 is prime. So we know, and it doesn't go into 200, so we know that we have a simplified fraction here. 33, we are doing the same thing for North America. North America is 1600ths, so we can say 16 over 100. I'm going to divide by 4, and we get 4/25ths for how much of the Earth North America takes up. The next few problems, we are identifying all sets to which each number belongs. So you're thinking back to that bullseye chart, and hopefully you put that in your notes so that you could check that out. 36 is -2 and 5/8. Anytime you see a fraction or a decimal that you can't make it go away somehow, that means that this is going to be a rational number. And it's only a rational number. 39, we have 9, and then a lot of fractions, or a lot of decimals, sorry. That, trying to figure out if they repeat or not, and they appear to repeat. So it's saying this, these are repeating, okay? Our repeating decimal could be written like this, 9 and 200ths with a repeating period of the 0, 2. Because it is a repeating decimal, we can say that that can be written as a fraction, which means that this is a rational number. The reason it was important to decide if this repeated or if there was some other funky pattern, like the one where the ones were increasing but the other number wasn't in our example, the reason that's important is because if it is not repeating, if it's just a non-terminating decimal, then it's not rational. But because we found a repeating pattern in here, that makes this one rational. The final problem for you is number 42. It says write 125 thousandths as a fraction in simplest form. So 125 thousandths looks like that. And you might remember that 125 goes into 1,000 8 times. So our answer here is 1/8. And that's it for this section. Again, please don't Don't flip out if you don't completely understand how to change a repeating decimal into a fraction. More importantly, I want you to know that that can happen so that you better understand that rational numbers include both decimals that terminate and decimals that repeat, both of those. So that's it for this week. You guys look for some more lessons on Monday for next week. All this is due on Monday, which I think is the 4th, May 4th. It's crazy, we're into May. But we will move on from here next week. Make sure if you have questions as we are going through this that you wrote them down and you can save them for our next Zoom, or you can post them on your class's discussion board. See you soon. Have a great weekend.